A very good morning to all the students of class 11th political science to the online classes here. Students, we were doing the second chapter of our book Indian Constitution at Work, and the name of the chapter is Election and Representation. And in this we had already finished our three parts. In the last part I had given you important information about the election system in India. First past the post system we had already done in the second part, and in the third part I told you about the procedure of proportional representation. That is a system or election system which has been followed in India also, and I told you in which places it is used. Okay, so today the last topic of this particular chapter, second chapter, is electoral reform. That is, it is part number 4 of this chapter, and there were many other topics also, right, related to election commission of India or independent election commission, but those topics have been removed or deleted from your syllabus, as I had already sent you the PDF of your new revised syllabus. So according to the revised syllabus I am taking your topics now, and this is the last topic for this particular chapter, in which I am going to tell you about the electoral reforms. So as I have been doing it, I am going to tell you the meaning of the particular topic and what do we understand by it and what are the things we are going to take up in this topic. So electoral, it is all related to the election system in India. Basically reforms, as you know, reforms mean changes, bringing up new changes. Already the rules regulations which were existing from the by the constitution, according to the constitution, when we amend them, when we make changes in them, so any changes in the prevalent rules and regulations, whether we are talking about the elections or we are talking about any rules, any provision, any article of the constitution, those are called reforms. So these are some of the, I would say, suggested reforms by the people or by the political scientists, we can say, or the political thinkers. Those think that what should be the changes to make the election system more free and fair and more representative or more democratic in nature. Making a election system or election commission more transparent in a democratic country like India, where is so much of diversity. Keeping all that in mind, there has been some suggestions given by these political thinkers or scientists regarding electoral reforms. What should be the reforms and changes made in our election system? So first of all, we shall start this with an example so that you can understand properly that what I'm trying to explain you. Okay, so the first point, please read it carefully. No system of election can ever be perfect. If we are talking about the worldwide or globally about the election system which has been prevalent on or followed or adopted by different countries around the world, no system can be perfect. As no human being can be perfect, in the same way no election system can be perfect, no administration or no organization, I would say, can be perfect. For example, taking this point in mind, keep this point in mind, that no election system can be perfect. So in India also we can say the election system is not perfect. It doesn't mean that it is not functioning properly, it is not up to the mark. It doesn't mean that it is functioning properly. We have put all our efforts to make our election system transparent and free and fair, but still we cannot call it perfect. As for example, take the example of a school. When a school must have started 10 years back, that there were only 10 to 15 rules written in your school diary. But as the year passed on, which with every year passing on, we learned, or principal ma'am saw, what should be the changes coming up, what should be the reforms made in the rules and regulations of the school. In the same way, with each and every step we keep learning from our mistakes also, and we also try to make some new changes to make our system better and perfect. But we cannot say that it is perfect. At a particular stage we can say that now we are perfect, but as we move on with passage of time, we learn, every day we learn something new, and we implement those new learned rules and regulations in our system. So it is a, we can say, continuous process of learning and changing, bringing change according to the need of the time. So in the same way, if I talk about any organization, so we are talking about the organization that is election system or electoral reforms. So our election system, we cannot call it perfect, but with passing time, as already 50, 60, 70 years have been passed since our independence, and with each every year has been passing, we are learning something new to make our election system more transparent and more perfect, to have free and fair elections or representation in our country. Okay, so this was the first and the most important thing you must know about the meaning of the reforms, that no system can be perfect. Today we may think that we are perfect, but as we will move forward, we will learn new things and we'll make few changes in our functioning. That is why we learn each and every day, and we make efforts to make our organization or our system perfect by adopting different new upcoming challenges and changes. So now we are talking about the school, we are talking about the system in election. Although the fundamental function is same, that we learn and we make changes as required with accordance to the time. So no system of election can ever be perfect. Any democratic, in relation to this, any democratic society has to keep searching for mechanism to make elections free and fair. As I told you, any democratic society, any country which is in democratic in nature, has to keep searching. There should be always efforts, because without efforts we cannot achieve anything. So we this election system also is, they are saying democratic society has to keep searching for mechanism to make election free and fair. So our society, our country, and our election system has to keep searching for the new mechanism and new methods and new methodologies to adopt in our election system, so that the elections in our country can be free and fair as it should be in a democratic society. But for that, what is important, to always keep trying and accepting new changes, okay, and searching for new mechanism. So moving forward, as you can see with the arrows, over the period of time, many institutions have come up with various proposals. So as I was talking us, new things, new problems, new challenges keep coming up, and whatever we feel are suitable to our system, we adopt them to make our system more impressive and more functional. In the same way, if I talk about the election system in India, over the period about the many years, our institution has come up with various proposals. So there has been many proposals, or we can say there's proposals for the reforms which has been not adopted, suggested by these political thinkers or people of the country. Okay, so basically we are talking about here suggestions. Okay, suggestions. What are the suggestions of the people to make our election system, this mechanism, more functional and more free and fair? So what are the various proposals of the people or the political thinkers or political scientists? They say, first point is here. Okay, what are the suggestions? Now this was the basic introduction. I told you what why the changes are and how they are related to the any organization or any system, whether it's the election system or any organization. So the first suggestion is, our system of elections should be changed from FPT to some variant of PR system. Okay, I hope it is visible to you. FPTP, what do you think? What is the full form of FPTP? As we have already done this topic, this is one of the, as we read, election systems in India. First past the post system, we read about it, which is followed in Indian Lok Sabha and state assembly elections are conducted with this particular method. And we also studied one complicated and complex variant of proportional representation which has been followed in Rajya Sabha, in president and vice president's election. So they are saying in our country now election should be changed, the system should be changed. We should not follow this system, but we should follow PR system. So this is one of the, we can say, suggestion or proposal of the people. And we had already done properly what is FPPT system and what is PR system. I hope you remember them, or you can watch the previous videos. So many of the people support this system. It doesn't mean that we have started following PR system for Lok Sabha elections or state assembly elections. It is just a suggestion of the people. Okay. Now, the next important reform which the people feel or the political thinkers and scientists have proposed is that the suggestion is that at least one third of women's, it is important, should be elected to the parliament and assemblies. Now, as the role of women has been increased, if I talk about local governments, we will be doing this. Okay, we shall be doing this chapter, okay, in this book only. But the role of women have been given seats in the local governments. But if I talk about the parliament and state assemblies, still there is no reserve seats for the women. So now they have suggested that to give them, this is the phase of women empowerment. We talk about equality, we talk about opportunities, equal opportunities, okay, freedom, right to speech, so right to expression. So in that case, one third seats should be reserved for the women in the parliament, that is in the Lok Sabha election, as well as in the state assemblies, because till date it is not, this provision has not been adopted in the assemblies and parliament, although this has been adopted in local government in 19 after the amendment of 1992. There was amendment made in the local government in 1992, according to which the women were given reserved seats in the local government, local functioning, whether urban or rural or panchayati system. Okay. Now moving to the next important point, the other suggestion, okay, is there should be stricter provision to control the role of money in electoral politics. So this, as a student, although you are a student, you have not yet started voting, but you have noticed and you must have observed your parents and the politics going nearby your society, that role of money is very important and plays a very influential role in the modern Indian politics. As we have seen, all those people having the money power and muscle power are, they are able to influence more number of people in their society to gain the votes, or to gain the, we can say, support of the people. So there should be, they are saying, is some provisions should be made to control the role, because in this, we can say, the election, the only the people having lot of money, or the or muscle power or money power, they are able to fight for, or to stand as a candidate in a particular election. Because if we have to fight an election, we have to contest the election, although we have the right, every citizen has the right to contest election, but for that there is lot of requirement of money, okay, to influence people. Now the political parties and even the independent candidates, they use the money and muscle power in the electoral politics. So there should be some provisions made to stop this influence of money and muscle power in electoral politics. For that, what suggestion has been given to the government, that government should make a fund for election expense, that there should be a fixed funding of money through the government. There should be a fund, or we can say a commission, which should look after the expenditure which should be made on the, we can say, on the election, or campaigning, we can say campaigning of the election. So there should be something fixed, and this money or fund should be given to every candidate, so that each candidate can have a rights in the election properly and can be elected. Otherwise, only few people are having this proper money and muscle power. So this is also one of the suggestion. And the last suggestion is here, not the last, here, candidates with criminal case should be barred from contesting election. So I don't accept this one, as I think it's written candidate, any candidate who is being accused of criminal case should be barred from the contesting election. It means he has, the decision from the court has not come that the accused person is a criminal or not, he has made that a crime or not, he should be punished or not. But they are saying that any person who is involved in any case, or his hearing or his petition is in the court, and so he should be barred, or he should be stopped from contesting election. In this case, what will happen, any political power, a political party, or any individual who has having the money and the muscle power can accuse any, we can say, any powerful opposition of having done some crime, and he can be barred from contesting election. So this is wrong, I think. Only the situation, or the provision which is in the written in the constitution, is that only those candidate who has gone to jail for 2 years, they are not allowed to contest election. This is a condition, and this should be the condition. We cannot say that if anyone is accused and of doing some crime and he is under petition, somebody has filed a complaint against him, so we can stop him from contesting election. This would be wrong. So next very important point which you must have noticed and observed in the Indian politics, even in the local government and the elections held at the local level, you must have seen at Panchayati Raj also, there should be complete ban on the use of caste and religion. There is lot of use of caste and religions to get the support and majority of the votes and get the influence of the people. Here the candidates use their caste and their religions to influence people towards them, towards their policies. So people vote on the basis of religion and caste. So any candidate who's having a particular caste influence the people of its caste through different policies and plans for their particular caste, in the same way for the religion. So there should be complete ban. Election Commission should ban whoever candidates uses the caste and religious as a base to for appeal and in the campaign should be removed from the election, should not be allowed to contest election. So there should be some fines also. So this is important. And the last point here, the suggestion I would say, there should be a law to regulate the functioning of the political parties and to ensure that they function in a transparent and democratic manner. So this is in relation to the political parties. Like there is an election, there are 5 political parties contesting in an election, and from them there are many candidates. But it is very important that there should be some rules and regulations to regulate the functioning of political parties within. Inside the political parties there are many undemocratic activities going on, where some specific family members are showing their dominance, and from years they are controlling the political parties. So in this case there should be some laws made to strictly regulate political parties in a democratic method, and to ensure that they function and that they function properly in a transparent democratic manner. So it is not about only the election between different political parties, but within the political parties this transparency of democratic manner should be maintained. For that, as we can say, these political parties are the base or the pillars of our political institution. So to keep our political institution safe and transparent and working according to the democratic manner, it is important for our political parties to function in a transparent manner and follow the methods of as a democratic country. So I would say all the things we have read, points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, 6 suggestions or proposals which are given by the many institutions. We have read them and we have understood them. These are just the suggestions, I would say, or the proposals which should be adopted in our election system, on which rules should be amended through the parliament. As we know, Election Commission is an independent body, but the changes and the reforms can be only made, and but till now these changes have not been made. These are just the suggestions. So we can say these were not the reality. These were the suggestions by different institutions who work and look at the politics of India. Okay. Apart from the legal reforms, there are 2 ways which, so we were talking about only the legal reforms, that there should be proper reserve seats for the women, there should not be use of money and muscle power, candidates should not having any criminal case, and there should be complete ban on the caste and religion, these etc. All these points were related to the legal reforms. To change these rules, we need a proper legal procedure to make those changes in the constitution for election commission or election system in India. But there are 2 ways which can work, but there are 2 ways at the primary level, we can say, which can work and which does not require any legal reforms. It is, as a human, we need to think of the country, and we should think of the transparency of the election system, so that in our country the elections are held free, conducted free and fair in manner, and also following the democratic method. So the 2 methods are written here: people's participation and reform within. So what is people's participation? As a citizen of India, Okay, we have been given various fundamental rights, various fundamental duties. We have already read it. So as a citizen, we must be vigilant, active. We should be aware. We should be more active, and we should be involved in the political activities. We should not think that we just have to give a single vote and our job is done. It's our responsibility as a citizen of India, as we read in the rights and duties also. So we must be vigilant, we must be very much involved in the what is going around our place, our society, who are the candidates, who are the good candidates, how the politics is going on around us. So it is up to our participation also to make our election system more free and fair. So many reforms can be made on our level also. We do not require only the legal reforms. Okay, the other is reform within. What are the reform within? Various political institutions and voluntary organizations are developed and are active in functioning as watchdog. So there are many political institutions as who have given these proposals also, that what should be the reforms made in the election system in India to conduct election in a free and fair, more free and fair way. In for that there are many political institutions which are functioning. In this we can also say judiciary is also one of the important part. Okay, there are many NGOs also, voluntary organizations also, who work for the active and proper functioning of the political system in India. They are the watchdog. They keep an eye, a watch on the activities going in the election. So they are also very important for bringing up any important reforms in the election system, so that we can have free, more free, I would say, more free and fair elections in India. So it is not only they are saying about the legal reforms that we will only wait for the legal reforms, but on our basis also we can have two type of works we can be done on people's participation and reform within. Because here people have limited role to play in the election. We can give vote to the candidates we choose, and we can actively participate sometime, but every time we cannot leave our jobs, and we cannot be only busy with the political system of India. But for that, here political institutions and voluntary organization are the important players who will play the important role in making important reforms within the election system without having any legal reforms. So with this we come to the end of this particular topic. I hope you have understood this chapter. As we have finished, I will be giving you assignment also regarding this particular topic, electoral reforms. Okay, so now many topics, as I told you, have been removed from our syllabus. So that is why I have taken directly this last topic, electoral reforms. We were all supposed to do that particular topic related to election system in India and the functions of election system. Sorry, election commission. I am saying election system, I am talking about election commission. What do you understand by election commission? What are the functions of election commission? But till now we had to do this, and we have done this, and I will be giving you assignment. And keep watching all the videos which I am sending you. I'm making notes for you. You can also write these notes in your fair notebook, and keep submitting your homework on time. Till then, thank you.